Hello, everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Patrick, and partners on Bob Chino. How's everyone doing? Sorry, I'm really tired. Was up most of the night with Stella dog. Whenever she lays on one of her sides where she has 12 staples and a bunch of stitches, uh, it starts bleeding. So got to flip her over, and it's constant. So literally, I got under an hour of sleep. So if I seem a little tired, that's what's going on. I just wanted to tell you what I'm watching today, and I won't be doing a lot today because stuff, from my perspective, is in trailing mode, and a lot of stuff like the short-term markets and gold. So that's where it sits. AS, thank you. What percent retracement? I think Sterling answered that in the comments for me. Uh, yeah, big reversal move in the yen. Big reversal move in the yen last night. So again, I just want to get through this and get through trading through the consumer sentiment numbers, which and the inflation expectations, which come out at 10 Eastern. And I am done. I'm sorry, I am done. So I hope everybody understands. Good morning, Jacob. McRangers is in the make money mode. Good morning, McRangers. Sterling put in all the PCE numbers, and I'll go. Oh, we also have retail spending, our personal income, boy, personal income, personal spending, retail inventories. Oh boy, and I'm just drinking green tea this morning. I've been having a reaction in the morning to coffee, so I switched to green tea, unfortunately, like a couple weeks ago. And green tea does not have the kick. So no sleep and green tea is just not not working. Good morning, Patrick. Oh, there's the good morning from Sterling. Thank you for putting in all the information. There's the and if you need more, if you need further insight, just give me the exact. Probably today's not the best day to ask me, but next week we can go through. If you want to know double rules, I'll share everything. Yeah, the China glitch. How's this massive stimulus a glitch? This is the point. Yeah, but the stimulus isn't going to work out in the long run. But in the short run, it can blow a lot of things up, including a lot of hedge funds. Good morning, Mark. Uh, Walmart to 95, 98. Oof, that's going to be interesting for valuations. Gold, best quarter in 8 years. Remind me after I get through a couple things. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Ted. What else? Yeah, that's gonna be funny. Kamala going to the border. Shouldn't you have gotten to the border like 3 years ago? Good morning, Anissa. Uh, I understand. I just was This was PCE day today, and the markets, they tried to sell off a bit yesterday and held, but it gave a very key level. A very key level. Hello, Charles. I don't. Yeah, yeah. The thank you, AS. The traditional. We'll call it the dark tea. Go to the dark side. It does, but it was something with, I don't know. I was having stomach issues and everything, so the green tea seems to work the best. It just does not have the caffeine kick. Black tea in the morning, green tea in the afternoon. I'll try some black tea. Very cool. 30-minute double on the NASDAQ. We'll take a look at that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. All right. Core PCE on a month over month came in pretty decent. Year over year is still, it went up from prior 2.6 to 2.7. What's more concerning is not the month over month. And does anybody follow Nick Timros? The Fed whisperer, who now sounds more like the Fed cheerleader, finding anything to try to justify. It's like, are you a reporter or are you just cheering on the Fed? It's like a guy with Google eyes towards a girl. I mean, that's how he is towards the Fed. It's like, wow, you're not even reporting stuff. You're just like trying to justify because their headline number is not their preferred method. Does anybody have the Supercore? Has anybody seen the reading on the Supercore? Sterling, if you could find that. What I was wondering with the Supercore, I did not have time to research it yet this morning. If anybody has that information, if they could put it in chat for me, that'd be great. Personal income, the consensus was 4, prior was 0.3, only coming in at 0.2. So personal income on a month-over-month basis dropping. Personal spending, well, look at with the drop in income, spending, and also people are going into further debt. So, but prior was 0.5. That's a big drop in personal spending and below consensus. The headline year over year is at 2.2. And I think Tim Ross was saying, well, it's almost at their 2 number. That's he was saying the PCE price index was their preferred measure. No, it's core. And then they started looking at super core. And so let's say this hits 2. Let's say the headline number hits 2. Are we done? I mean, should we take the rates all the way back down? What if you have anything? See, that remember they talked about adjusted average. Well, let's just say you drop off there. I don't know what an adjusted average is, but let's say you want an average inflation of 2. Can you stop at 2? Because we've been running way above 2. So do you not want to print like at 1.9? Do you want, how does this all work? Because if you get any ripple in the system and you're at 2, doesn't it bounce back up and then you're above inflation again? I don't understand this. I'm really confused with what they're thinking. But I guess that's why I'm not paid the big bucks. He's a Fed groupie. It's turned into that. I bought some yerba mate. I was gonna try that too. Thank you, AS. It's in a bag. I got a bag of like tea. It's in tea bags. So I was gonna try that. Thank you. You reminded me. It was sitting in my cupboard. I bought it. I just haven't. I was gonna wait till the weekend because I did not want to disrupt anything with my system, and then say, guys, I got an emergency. I gotta go in the middle of the live stream. that would not be good for the live stream. Sorry for getting off track today. Maybe it's a bit of humor will get me through it. By the way, Costco had earnings yesterday. You see here, there's nothing today. Costco had earnings and beat on EPS, but what do I say? More critical, revenue. Revenue missed on Costco. And, you know, I sort of put Costco into the Walmart camp. It's more in that, okay, you know, you got higher end stuff at Costco too, but it's more at the bulk purchases, you know, where a lot of people go, especially for grocery staples if they have a family, because they can buy some more stuff in bulk. But that was a miss on revenue, which was a big highlight yesterday. So going into the open, Tesla continues its march higher, hitting the 87.5 yesterday. Lilly is the only like really mega cap that's down for today. Costco, which is not a mega cap, but other things are slightly up to mixed. And besides Tesla, remember, in a few more days, their quarter end. So far, let me just refresh this. We got real estate, consumer cyclical, and energy leading. Everything's up except healthcare today, and that's mainly because of Lilly. Now, before we had the numbers come out, the PCE numbers come out this morning, it was 50-50. Now it's 52-47. So a slight move favoring the 50, but nothing major. I mean, the market's still complete. I mean, we're a long way off. Now we're getting to the major election cycle stuff, and we're almost back to extreme greed again. What is our Shiller PE? What is it? I'm 36.90. Oh, come on, 37s. Let's get to 37s in the Shiller PE. So, too much information, Richard? All I could find is Supercore PCE is even worse, coming in at 0.39 with 3-month annualized change up to 5.5. That's what I'm worried about. This is what I'm worried about. Core, and I'm not saying inflation's got to take off, But what if what if we're going to go into a recession? And what if, I'm not talking the stuff you don't need to buy, like you don't need the new iPads, you don't need the new Android or Apple phone. You look, already Apple phones, they sold out the iPhone 16 on the initial launch, but they're expected to be completely back in stock in a couple weeks. So do you need if you have an iPhone 14 or 15, do you need the 16? I mean, really, if you're watching your spending, no, no, you don't. All right. So this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, you don't need the new 98-inch TV that, all right, it can, look, you get a holiday sale. It's off $500. Well, do you need it, or do you need to feed your family? And if stuff stays stickier. I mean, I was in Costco again just a couple days ago, and ground beef went up again. Ground beef went up again at the Costco I shop at. So it's not even staying flat. Stuff's still climbing. Not as fast as before, but it's still climbing. All right, what I'm watching is yesterday with the price action, and this is a modified percent B. This would be a great place. If we end up closing below a Thursday low today, it would be take short-term profits indicator for me. Okay, with the price action yesterday. Now remember, this can keep climbing. This can definitely keep climbing. 58.48, 58.50 is the next key major target. But, okay, now let's take a look at this. Now, especially, have we hit, let's see, to get to the double top here, we need 58.17. We got to 58.17. So this is technically, doesn't mean anything, but that reinforces this low. And if this starts selling off and we don't go much higher in the open, I'd flip this over to the conservative target since you're going against very major support. I'm just putting it here for now. And if we look at that, what does that reinforce? We just went into potential double top territory, and that reinforces yesterday's low. So for two reasons, yesterday's low is now key. Remember, if it does not go below yesterday's low, it doesn't matter. And it's into the rotation zone on a daily basis. So this isn't like, okay, the overall top's in, let's just load up the shorts and everything's going to fall apart. No, this would just be a return to the rotation zone. But that's exactly, for two reasons now, we just spiked up there. That's exactly what I'll be looking at, especially going into those 10 a.m. numbers. Yeah, Costco hot dogs still are $1.50. When do we get worried about the fall of the dollar? And we're not anywhere close to that yet. Will Costco socially be the next Walmart? Oh boy. Oh boy. So that's the key thing to watch. And the upside takes care of itself. By the way, the next little thing, if you're looking for intraday price action, since we already got in the double, and if it continues to rally, really watch 58.23 and then the 58.30, above 58.30, 58.48 to 58.50. So you can map out all the levels. That's really important. And look how well it's been holding the 4-hour rotation zone. Look at all this. So that's why if we did trigger this, it would be well below the rotation zone, and it would also close for the first time below the rotation zone. You see here, because every dip into the rotation zone, it doesn't have to stop at the 21. What I'm watching for is the close below the 21, which it never was able to do on that 4-hour basis. But if it came back down and triggered this 4-hour double and triggered it would require a 4-hour close, that would also be below the rotation zone. Hope that makes sense. The NASDAQ, in order to get to double top, has to get to 2450, and that's just minor. So going into the open, I'd use 20,407, then 20,450 technically. If it continues to rally up, 20,494. All the levels. You see how yesterday we stalled out? Remember, we're not trying to call a higher or low. We're looking for areas where we could get a reaction. So prior, we came close to the harmonic, the 12.5, stalled out again for 4, 8, 12 hours, and broke out and went to the next harmonic. This is why I look at these levels for reactions. Now, we also spiked up to right by the 87.5. So we've completed the 87.5 rule on the NASDAQ. On the bigger time frame. So since we're not there yet, but yesterday's low is still going to be key price. Now, if it gets up to above this 20,450.50 and then reverses and closes below yesterday's low at 20,188, it would be also trigger for a double. Otherwise, if that doesn't happen, it's still just climbing on up. The Dow, you can't really, this is just a sideways consolidation. I will watch yesterday's low, but that could be for a potential pullback to about 41,950, not double targets there. If it breaks out, the next major area is 43,200. The Russell tried to poke above Wednesday's high, but then closed back below it, so no percent B buy, and there won't be one today unless you follow the multi-day rules. On any rally, I just use your, why isn't that, there we go. I just use, again, the harmonics like this, and you see on any move up today, I look at 2261 and then 2272 to the upside. To the downside, the major support is 2208 today. Well, I live in the US, so that should tell you where I prefer to live. Canada under Trudeau has gone to a complete crap hole, which is really sad to me. Their policies are just atrocious. So VIX still unable to really get much below that 15 level. So right now, if we do start a slightly bigger sell-off, I'm watching 16. Thank you, Royal Palms. I see a Nike reminder. There we go. The DAX just keep climbing through the next harmonic area. So the next major harmonic level for all of the DAX traders, we pull off this. The minor level from the really big harmonics that went through this 19,581 to 19,600, 20,127 is the next major harmonic area. All these markets are trading in complete rah-rah mode. So we had the doubles complete in the notes. Let's just take a look. I'm going to be watching this, though, after the consumer sentiment and inflation expectations come out. Now, we're finally rolling over a bit on the cycles, coming out of nearly overbought condition. But key support in this is now coming back at 3.7 on a yield basis. And so far, this has been a sideways correction, not a big pullback in yields. 10-2s almost hitting the second target. Look at that. I'd consider this target hit, but because of the way it works on the minus area. But right here, we're almost there, so officially we won't call it hit yet. But look at the steepening going on here. Took a long time to play out, but we had that reaction right next to the target. And remember, we're at this area back from May of 22nd before we had the massive sell-off in the yield curve. Now, somebody brought up the dollar index. Weakening now, but there's been some buying pressure in here, and we're still coming into an area where I'll get more concerned if we start breaking about this 99.40 area. 99.40, if we start accelerating below that, it will get interesting. Look at holding the rotation zone all the way down. Just boom, boom, boom. Multi-bottom that's trying to break. Watch where it closes today. Watch if it closes below Tuesday's close. That will be very telling, especially after we see what happens with those 10 a.m. numbers. Crude in potential double bottom mode. We're getting cycles to the bottom, not there yet. So going to be watching, especially going into next week. We could technically get a percent beat buy setup also for a front run pattern. This may never trigger, but that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Natty gas, we went through all the targets, even on if you didn't roll, you got through all the targets. And with the roll still closing about the 62.5, so the next key target area is 3. The next key target area is 3. Rising rotation zone. So even on a pullback to fill, and this is not a roll, this is a gap roll, not like a strong gap up by the open. This is a gap roll, but even if on a gap roll, fill back to 262 does not change the bullish trajectory. Ooh, can't speak today. Keep an eye on gold at yesterday's low also. Keep an eye on gold at yesterday's low. The rotation zones, the top of the rotation zone is sitting about 2660. So on any breakdown, that's what I'm watching. Silver spiking yesterday. Spiking up, new recent highs. Remember, the next key area is, if you can let me see it, 33.50. Let's get to some other stuff. What else do we need? What else do we need? We had the big reversal in the yen. We got above the rotation zone, spiked up to that 50, and then big reversal down. Big reversal down so far today. So, but no major. We'll be watching to see where this goes because it could be getting, with waning momentum, we could be getting into a more significant bottoming pattern. You also see a spike into the weekly rotation zone. What else? Let me just get to Nike for Royal Palms. Nike, you still have the gap left behind right at the 200 area. So that would be a very key target for me. Nike also finally closed above the 62.5, so you got the magnet price still higher. So on any pullbacks, it's at cycles tops very overbought, so would not be chasing at this point. You got gaps left up, but first level support is about 87.75, and major supports coming in right around 86. So if the markets keep running, now you got earnings, that's the only disruptor. You got earnings on the 1st. So if they do beat on earnings, and I'd have to look at it more based off the expectations and whether it's set up for a beat or not, the target area I'd be looking at is about 94.60. But that's what I have to do more research specifically in those earnings. What else? Bitcoin. Bitcoin, the short term back above the 62.5. Next target's 67,639. That's actually the first level. That's a major resistance area. What I'm still watching though is because Ethereum, when we have a little steeper channel, but it's stalled at the first target, but we still not triggered this potential double bottom. That's what I'm watching in the short term for the crypto stuff. Spiders, yesterday, let me zoom in here, coming up 574.39 and reversing down. We're at 573.41. The next target, so the upside is 575.89. On any rollover play, I'd be looking at yesterday's open, 574.38, and then on a bigger rollover play, eventually it's to the gap fill at 572.30, and then that's where that sits. Remember, above, if it keeps marching above 575.89, 578.88. The Qs, that's straight to the 87.5. So the Qs, 87.5, reversal lower, markets open. So key resistance is 493.50 again. Looks like it's going to fill the gap just potentially on the open to 489.47. Below that, the next major support is 486. Tesla hit the 87.5 yesterday in a major topping area. So from anybody long Tesla is in the short term, I'd be looking personally to look at this is not just based off the recent harmonic. This is a major topping area it's going into. So I'd be at least know where your trailing stop is. And Nvidia still. Nvidia also in the short term hit that 87.5, but in the longer term to invalidate the double, it's not there yet. All right. What else? I don't think I missed anything else. Let's just take a look at the S&P. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let's take a look at the short term. So again, we're not anywhere close to a major. You got a lot of support coming in here, so you need a lot of momentum. So really, I'm just going to be watching the next 30 minutes for consumer sentiment numbers to come out because it's trading into a lot of key support here. So we'd have to have some massive selling pressure and momentum to even trigger that. Pretty strong tick opening, very strong tick opening actually, up 1,400. Up 1,400, but so far, I'm going to be watching for the pullback in the tick and some of this key support level to hold, especially major support for me would be about this 802 to 804, and then watch for a tick bounce. The minor support area to me is about 807. That's just for day trading. We'll be watching to see what the market does on the tick bounce. If it doesn't get much of a move up on the tick bounce, then I'll start focusing more on a rollover play to some of these key support lows. All right. With that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Then I got to get some rest later today, so I shall talk to everyone later. Have a wonderful trading day. Bye for now.